If someone had told me 5 years ago that my marriage would be in ruins because of a self-help course, I would have laughed them out of the room. But here I am now, sifting through the wreckage of what used to be a happy life. I'm Mark, 38, married to Julia, 35. We met during grad school, both ambitious, both in love with the idea of building a future together. We bought a house in the suburbs, had 2 wonderful kids, and supported each other's careers. I thought we were solid. Maybe a little routine after a decade together, but who isn't? It started innocently enough. Julia had taken a new position at her company, a big step up that came with a lot more stress and expectations. Around that time, she started talking about a course called Successful Women, Unlock Your Potential. It was hosted at a sleek downtown conference center by a well-known coach named Daniel Westbrook. "You should see the testimonials, Mark," she said one night, practically glowing. "Women say it changed their lives. I feel like I need this." I wasn't against it. I wanted her to feel empowered. "Go for it," I said. "You've worked hard, you deserve to invest in yourself." The first few weeks, she came home energized, brimming with ideas and self-confidence. She'd talk for hours about the workshops, about agency, autonomy, stepping into your feminine power. I'll admit, some of it sounded a little self-indulgent, but if it made her happy, who was I to judge? But gradually, something changed. At first, it was subtle. She started dressing differently, sharper, bolder, heels she hadn't worn in years. The old soft-spoken Julia was replaced by someone more commanding. She stopped asking my opinion on anything. Weekend plans, decisions about the kids, even financial stuff, it became her call. Then came the nights out. The course met twice a week, but soon there were special intensives, networking dinners, one-on-one coaching sessions. She'd come home late, sometimes after midnight, and brush off my questions with a vague, "just building connections." "You wouldn't understand." I started feeling shut out, but I didn't want to be the insecure husband. I bit my tongue. Then one evening, while putting our youngest to bed, I heard her phone buzz on the nightstand. A message preview popped up. "Looking forward to our private session tonight. You're unstoppable. Daniel." My gut twisted. I told myself it was nothing. He was a coach, after all, maybe this was part of the program. But doubt had taken root. The next day, I couldn't resist. When she was out, I checked her phone. My hand shook as I scrolled through a thread of late-night messages. Compliments. Flirtations. Then, unmistakably explicit exchanges. "You make me feel alive again," she had written. "You've barely begun to unlock what's inside you," he replied. I felt like the floor had dropped out from under me. When she came home that night, I confronted her, not with anger, just trembling heartbreak. She didn't deny it. "It wasn't planned, Mark," she said, tears brimming. "But he sees me. He makes me feel like a woman again, not just a mother, not just your wife." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You're throwing away our life for a coach? For a fantasy?" She sobbed. "I don't know. I'm so confused." That night, I slept on the couch, my heart in shards. In the days that followed, she claimed it was over, that she'd ended it, that the course was done. But trust, once shattered, is hard to rebuild. One evening, unable to bear the uncertainty, I followed her when she left for yet another networking dinner. She didn't go to a restaurant. She went to his loft apartment. I sat in my car, watching the lights flicker on inside, my heart pounding in my chest. 2 hours passed. Then 3. When she finally emerged, her hair tousled, her lipstick faded, I knew. This wasn't confusion. This was betrayal. I didn't sleep that night. I stared at the ceiling, heart racing, mind a storm of disbelief, rage, sorrow. How had we ended up here? I kept picturing her walking out of that apartment, thinking about the lies she'd told about us, about him. By morning, I wasn't sure if I was angrier at her, or myself. I'd let this happen right under my nose. I waited until the kids were at school. Then I sat her down. "I followed you last night," I said, voice steady but cold. I know everything. Her face drained of color. For a moment, I thought she'd try to deny it, but she didn't. I didn't know how to stop it, she whispered. Every time I tried, he'd pull me back in. I wanted to scream, to rage. But I couldn't. There was only a hollow ache where my love used to live. You had a choice, Julia. You chose this. Over me. Over your family. She sobbed. Mark, please. It started because I felt invisible. The course, he made me feel like someone again. Like more than a mom, more than your wife. And what about what you made me feel? I said, barely holding myself together. You broke me. We talked, if you could call it that, for hours. Arguments. Apologies. Circular conversations that led nowhere. At one point, she grabbed my hands and begged, we can fix this. We can go to counseling. But something in me had shifted. The man who had built a life with her, the man who believed in us, he was gone. I need time, I told her. Away from this, away from you. For the next week, I stayed at my brother's place. He was the first person I told. I expected judgment, but instead he poured me a glass of bourbon and said, you didn't fail, Mark. People make their own choices. I replayed everything in my head 1,000 times. The course. The new clothes. The long nights. The texts. The betrayal. A month later, the truth came out not just to me, but to her boss, to our friends. Turns out, Daniel Westbrook had other women in his private coaching sessions. Julia was just one of many. It devastated her when she found out. The fantasy had crumbled. She came to me then, broken in ways I couldn't have imagined. I ended it. I confronted him. I see it now, he was manipulating me. I believed her. But I also knew some wounds don't heal cleanly. I can forgive you, I told her. But I can't unsee what I saw. I can't unknow what I know. We tried counseling, for the kids, if nothing else. But our marriage had become a hollow shell, echoing with what we had lost. 6 months after that confrontation, we separated. Now, almost a year later, I sit here writing this, reflecting on a chapter one never thought would be part of my life story. I'm learning who I am without her. I'm spending more time with my kids. I'm rebuilding, one shaky brick at a time. And maybe, just maybe, I'm learning to trust again, not in others, but in myself. If there's one thing I've taken from this, never ignore your gut. And no course, no coach, no self-help guru is worth the cost of your integrity or your family. As for Julia, she's still finding her way. We co-parent as best we can. Some days are better than others. I don't hate her anymore. I don't love her, either. I feel distant. Like watching an old movie of a life that no longer belongs to me. And you know what? That's okay. Because I know this now, healing isn't about forgetting. It's about moving forward even when the path is nothing like you imagined.